How's it going, everybody? Chris here, and welcome back to the Casual Gamer. I know it's been a really long time since I've posted a video, and to be honest, I wasn't even actually going to post a video for a little while longer while I get kind of back into the swing of things. But I really wanted to make a video to really help beginners like myself. Okay, I'm a beginner at this, as you can tell from clicking on the video, right? I'm not an intermediate. I'm not advanced. I'm a beginner, just like probably those of you who are watching this video. Okay. And I love these games. I've always loved fighting games, even though I've never really been that good at them, but yet I still enjoy playing them. And I really wanted to get something out to help people who are either beginners, who are just trying to find enjoyment in maybe fighting games, especially Tekken 8, obviously, of what we're talking about. Because if you're like me, maybe you've tried fighting games in the past and you just couldn't stick with it. You couldn't find the enjoyment with it, and so you kind of fell off, or you just got so overwhelmed and you didn't really know what to do. And so I'm going to be talking in like a really basic level today to help give you a basic understanding of just simple mechanics and maybe some mindset things to help you figure out how to stick with it and how to love these games even though you're not maybe very good at them. Okay, because that is possible. You don't have to be amazing at fighting games to enjoy them. For those of you who haven't watched my channel before, which is probably most of you, okay, I try to keep things pretty casual. I'm not following a script. You know, I do have a little bit of outline, obviously, of what I want to talk about, but I'm just talking. So excuse my rambling sometimes. Excuse maybe some of the things I say don't make sense, but I try to keep things pretty casual. Okay, same thing on my stream on Twitch. I try to keep things pretty casual as well. So the first thing I want to talk about before we even begin with anything, right? Again, this is the demo. Obviously, I don't have access to the full version. I will probably make another video, not necessarily amending this video, but really delving into the training mode. As you can see, practice is grayed out. I can't do a practice mode, so I don't know what's going to be in there. Obviously, from what it's saying, you practice the basics, character skills, combos, things like that. So we'll make a video going through things in practice mode that may help you practice some of the things we're going to talk about and just build yourself at a base level first. Okay, but for today, it's going to be a little bit weird because we're going to have to use like one player versus two player, and I'm going to have to kind of mimic controls, and we're going to have timers and all that stuff. So it's going to be a little bit annoying, but for the sake of the video, it's what we're going to have to do. Okay. So the first thing I want to talk about, we'll go ahead and jump into this player versus player because we're going to need to be here anyways in a minute. Okay. So the first thing that I want to talk about is we got to talk about some mindset things when it comes to fighting games. Okay. The first thing that I'm going to say right off the bat, for those of you who are just starting out, for those of you who, whether you've played fighting games in the past or whether this is your first fighting game ever that you're jumping into, something about Tekken 8 spoke to you and you want to jump in and play. One of the biggest things starting out is do not compare yourself to other people. Okay. I know it's kind of cliche to say, but don't. Seriously, there's a lot of content creators out there that are really good at fighting games, okay? And if you start comparing yourself to them and you start comparing yourself to, hey, I should be like them, I put a lot of practice in, I should be like these YouTubers or content creators, you're going to get disappointed and you're going to get upset, and it's going to make you lose enjoyment of the game, okay? They're there to help. It's cool to watch them. It's cool to see what they can do. It's cool to see what they can do with the characters that you're playing. That maybe one day, hey, that's going to be cool that I can hopefully do that at some point. But don't think you need to be doing that right away. Okay, you don't need to be doing this fancy stuff. Have fun with the game. Okay, so that's number one. Okay, don't compare yourself. Okay, on top of that, going along with that is don't look at tier lists, guys. Tier lists are going to come out of who's the best character, who's the character everybody's playing. Okay, don't worry about that stuff. Okay, and here's why. Tier lists don't matter at a beginner level. They don't matter. Anybody can pick any character and beat you, and you're going to find out that that's going to happen. The lowest tier character is going to whoop your butt just because the player has a better understanding of the game. So don't worry about tier lists. It doesn't matter at this level. Pick the character that you like. Okay? Whether looking at here, maybe you like Nina. Maybe you like that she's from Ireland and that speaks to you, or maybe you like her design, or maybe you like her fighting style. Once you play the character and you start realizing, I really like the gameplay. Maybe I like Jin. He's kind of the one of the poster boys. Oh, he does karate. He's from Japan. I really like this character. He looks cool. play that character. You know, and if you realize that you don't like that character, find somebody else. Okay, find another character that you like to play. If you pick a character, even if they're on the tier list, they're low, but you like that character, you like playing them, it's fun, you're gonna find more enjoyment in the game right off the bat because you're playing a character that you love. Okay, and then when you're not playing, you're like, man, I can't wait to go in and play as Jin some more. Right? That's what you want to find. You want to find that character. Okay. Going along with that, I wouldn't play too many characters. Once you figure out who you want to play, I wouldn't focus on too many characters because as you're going to find in this game and a lot of fighting games, there's a lot of depth to a lot of the characters and it can be overwhelming if you're trying to learn every character there is on the roster. Okay. Pick one, maybe two to switch things up, maybe even three if you can handle it, you know, if that's not too overwhelming, just so you have a little bit of variety and you can see who you like, who you don't like, and things like that. Okay, so please pick a character that interests you and not something that other people are playing or is good on the tier lists. Okay, pick a character that you like. It's gonna help you out a lot. Okay. Another thing going on top of that is understand that you're gonna make mistakes. Okay, right off the bat, you're gonna make mistakes. Okay, it's gonna happen. You're gonna lose a lot starting out, whether you're playing online or even against the computer. You're gonna lose. Okay, you're gonna make mistakes. You're gonna wonder, how in the world did this happen? What did I do wrong? That is perfectly normal. Okay, don't stress about it. We all do it. I do it. You're gonna lose. It's part of the process. And if any of you out there have played any Souls games, Dark Souls, Bloodborne, you understand losing is part of the experience. It's how you learn. It's how you figure out what you're doing wrong. And sometimes it can be frustrating. Sometimes it can feel unfair. But once you figure out, oh, this is what I've been doing wrong. I'm blocking too much. I need to change this up. I need to change that up. Whatever it is, you'll figure that out as you play. In another video, I touched on a small thing in a previous video that I think helps a lot of people too. And this is going to be the last mindset thing before we actually dive in and get into the gameplay and some basic gameplay stuff. But as you're learning, focus on the small things rather than winning matches. Okay? What do I mean by that? Okay, if you're picking a character, and let's say you're just trying to learn how to grab, you're just trying to learn how to throw people. Okay, practice it. Go in matches and practice throwing, and be excited, be happy, like feel like you won when you successfully threw somebody. Hey, I learned one, how to throw, when to do it, and when not to do it. Okay, that's going to help you feel like you're progressing and that you're learning, versus just seeing a you lose screen pop up when you feel like you gave it your all. Okay, start trying to focus on those smaller things of how you can improve as a player than the big picture of winning the match. Because at the end of the day, winning the match means nothing. You can win a match and have just sat there and mashed your face against the controller. But as you focus on the small things, you're going to learn and you're going to get better. Okay. Now, I think you should play however you want to play. However you want to play this game. However if you want to mash your face on the controller and that's how you enjoy it, great. But for a lot of us, right, we want to slowly improve. We want to feel like we're doing cool stuff and that we're getting better and better. Okay, so just keep that in mind as we go throughout this video, and as you pick up, if you haven't played the demo or if you're planning on getting the game when it comes out this weekend, focus on that. All right, so I know we've been on this screen a lot, mainly because I know there's a timer and it kind of gets annoying in the match, but now we're going to get into it. Okay, we've talked about characters, we talked about not comparing yourself, we talked about getting into a mindset of learning, basically. Okay, understand you're a beginner. Okay, so let's jump in. I'm going to start with Jin. I'm going to be using Jin. Okay, we'll let's see here. We'll go ahead and give well, technically it's player 2, but it's going to be the AI there with Nina. Okay, and of course this is in a training mode, so we're going to have a timer and we're going to have to deal with all that stuff. So now again, I'm going to be trying to speak as simply as I can. One, because I'm a beginner myself, right? I can't give you advanced knowledge because I don't have it. Okay, so I should be able to speak simply to a lot of you guys out there who are in the same boat as me as very beginner. Maybe haven't played Tekken a whole lot. Maybe this is your first fighting game. Okay, so I'm going to try to keep things simple at a base level that everybody can understand. So for those who are very, very new, right? If you ever seen a fighting game, this is pretty standard, right? You're going to be facing off each other, left side, right side. You're going to have the health bar on the top of the screen, and then you have this blue bar right under your big golden orange health bar. Okay, we're going to talk about that in a little bit. Okay, but it's pretty simple. Okay, the 3 dots above the health bar, those are rounds. So when we see the timer go down, someone's going to win a round and get a little glowy dot there. Okay, so that's pretty much all you need to know with just the simple layout here of what's going on. It probably doesn't need much of explaining with movement. Okay, most of you are probably going to understand that if you move the analog stick or you move the directional pad, you're going to move. See how we're going to get the time up? It's going to be a little bit annoying with that, but we'll make do with it. We'll make do. So in this, right, you've got moving forward, you got moving backwards. If you just hold or press down on the I use the D-pad. I don't like using the analog stick. But if I just press down on the D-pad, I'm going to crouch. If you press, oops, okay. If you hold up, you're going to jump. And as you can see, okay, I like to double tap. If I double tap up, I'm going to circle around by going up. Or if I double tap down, I'm going to sidestep, you know, coming towards me. Okay, that's the basic movement you're going to have with just the directional pad. Okay, pretty simple. I don't think we need a whole lot of explanation on that. Okay, this is the only thing I'm going to talk about that's a little bit, not necessarily confusing, but it's a bit maybe of a lingo that once you understand it, you'll get it. It makes perfect sense. But I'm using an Xbox controller. Some of you may be using a PlayStation controller. Maybe some of you are using a complete different controller. So a lot of times with inputs, you're going to hear people say when they talk about moves that maybe they said down 1 2. Okay, we're like, what the hell does that mean? What's down 1 2? Okay, a lot of the times on the controller, we're going to go into the move list real quick. Okay, you can kind of see, and we're going to talk about this later as well. You can kind of see the move list here, right? You got 2 arrows and you got this, you got these buttons, okay? The easiest way to look at these buttons and what it means is just rotate it a little bit to the left, okay? So that's north, south, left and right, or east and west facing, right? This is a reflection of the face buttons on your controller. Okay, so for me, I'm using the Xbox controller. So you can see on this top one, right, the one that's highlighted white, I would consider that Y on my controller. Okay, to the left of that would be X, to the right of that would be B, and below it is A. So when you hear certain numbers, it's usually a reflection of these buttons. And what they correlate to, or how I correlate them, right, and what I will for this video, is using this first one as an example. That top one that's highlighted is going to be 2. Okay, to the left of that's going to be 1. Okay, so you're going to have 1 2, and then the bottom one, the one that's directly below the highlighted one, is going to be 3, and then 4 to the right. So for Xbox controllers users out there, X is 1, Y is 2, A is 3, and B is 4. PlayStation, right? Square is 1, triangle is 2, X is 3, circle is 4. Okay, so that's an easy input notation, just so whatever controller is you're playing with, you know what's being pressed. Okay, so we're gonna look at it here as far as that correlates to Tekken. In Tekken, every number, every face button correlates to a limb. Okay, so for example, I press 1, okay, which again is X or square. He's gonna punch with his left hand. Okay, if I press 2, he's going to punch with his right hand. So 1 and 2 are the punches, right? They're the punches. Okay, 3 is going to be a kick with the left leg. 4 is going to be a kick with the right leg. Okay, so if you hear like down 1 2, well, down means I'm going to be crouch. I'm going to press down, and I'm going to do 1 2. Okay, something like that. Down 1 2. Okay, obviously that didn't string together, but that's an example of what I would be talking about. So if you hear me say that, that's what we're gonna do. So just 1 2 3 1 2 4 1 2 4 1 2 4. Okay, so that's when you start hearing videos, you hear me say that, you know what I'm talking about. Okay, so we're gonna rematch this, obviously. It's kind of annoying, we're gonna have to do it this way, but I wanted to, you know, get something out for you guys who, you know, maybe aren't buying the game yet and you're a little bit on the fence. So the demo is the best I got. Okay, so with movement, right, we know how to move, you know, or sorry, we know how to sidestep. Okay, we know how to move forward, we know how to move back, and we know that 1 and 2 are punches, okay, and 3 and 4 are kicks. Okay, well, what about grab? How do I grab? Well, I can tell you how I grab. The easiest way for me to grab is by pressing 1 and 3. Okay, so for X and A, or square and X if you're on PlayStation, right? And they'll do a grab. Okay, it's basically one punch button. Okay, and I can do it on the other, you know, I can do it on 2 and 4 as well, right? I'll get a little bit of a different grab. Okay, basically it's a one punch button and one kick button. You're gonna get a grab. Okay, okay, and well, where's that effective? Well, as you can see, Nina's blocking here. Okay, okay, she's blocking. Okay, well, if your opponent's blocking a lot, well, I can grab them, right? If you notice, well, when they're blocking, I can't break through their block. Grab them. Grabs beat blocks. Okay, so that's like the basic thing of understanding of where, you know, you're sitting there trying to strike your opponent. You're like, gosh, you know, they just keep blocking everything I got. Well, we're gonna throw a throw at them. Okay, we're gonna change it up. All right, so that's the basic grabbing. Okay, so we got movement, we got basic attacks, and we know how to grab. Okay, very simple. Very simple. Anybody can learn that. Okay. So now we're gonna go about blocking. Okay, and most fighting games. Okay, I'm gonna try to do this in a weird way with controlling Nina and trying to control Jin at the same time. The easiest way to block, right? A lot of times, what's great is you can just stand there, right, and you'll get a block. But I'm used to a lot of other fighting games. I try to hold back. So if I try to move away from my opponent, right, I'm gonna block. Okay. And you notice I'm blocking high. Every strike has basically a position of where it's going to hit you at. Think real life, right? If I punch you in the face, you're going to block your face. But if I kick you in the leg, if you block your face, it's not going to do anything, right? So if I'm holding back and I'm getting a kick to the face, okay, well, I'm able to block that, right? Okay. Well, or I can duck under it. Okay. There are some strikes that require you. So let's say she's crouching and she throws a low kick at me. Well, if I'm standing and blocking, oh my gosh, why isn't this working? I'm blocking the way I'm supposed to. Okay, well, you gotta crouch. Yeah, see? You gotta crouch. Okay, just like we talked about with the explanation, right? Some attacks are gonna be low and you're gonna have to block it. You're gonna have to get low. Okay, a lot of that, if you're like me, your reaction time's not that great. Sometimes it's a guess. Sometimes you have to kind of guess and see what they're gonna do. Okay, or if you can see it coming, you know, or you've played your opponent enough, you know that they like to do low attacks, whatever it is. Just understand that you're gonna have a high block and you're gonna have a low block. Some strikes will still hit you if you're blocking low, if it's like an overhead or something like that. Okay, so you're gonna have to, you know, use the correct block for the correct attack that's coming at you, and that's just gonna take some time and learning that. Okay, but that's how you're gonna block. All right, you just hold back, whether you crouch, you know, or you stand. Okay, I like to hold back and just rotate my thumb, right, just down. So now I'm standing or I'm just crouching, right? I can just do it all in just a very small motion, right? You can see kind of how, you know, fast you can do it, right? You're just rotating your thumb on the D-pad. If you're using a D-pad, some of you might be using an arcade stick, some of you might be using the analog stick. Okay, I have a more difficult time using that, so I don't use it. So that's what we're talking about when we talk about blocking. Now, Tekken 8 has a mechanic, okay, that's very unique to Tekken 8, and it's called like the heat system. It's called heat, and that's what this blue bar is that's below our health, right? So heat is something you can use once in a match, and it's a bit of a power up for you. Okay, so we're going to talk briefly of how to do it. There are several ways you can activate it, and then we'll go over really what it does. So let's get into this here. So I press, again, using an Xbox controller, I press the right bumper, or it would be R1 if you're playing on PlayStation. And as you'll notice, okay, this meter starts dropping and I start getting a bit of a glow. Okay, well, there's various things you can do with it. I'm gonna do the big attack, a big attack with it. And then, well, she was blocking, so you didn't really get to see it. But it's like, okay, well, what does that do? Most fighting games are gonna have a move list. I think pretty much everyone I've ever played has a move list. Tekken 8 has a very good move list of explaining what certain things do and what you can do, and what's gonna happen when you do it. So let's go into the move list. Okay, you should be looking at this with every character that you play. Okay, especially at this level. And you're gonna see you got main techniques and you have all techniques. Okay. Now, don't get overwhelmed. You're gonna see a lot of stuff on this screen, right? You're gonna see a lot of inputs. You're gonna see all these symbols. You're gonna be like, what the hell does any of this mean? Okay. Most of this stuff right now, you don't need to know what it means. However, if you look at the bottom left of the screen, you'll notice there's a little help button. Oh, a help button. If you press that, it's gonna bring up what a lot of these inputs mean. So you could see these white arrows. Oh, quickly press a directional button. Okay, a black arrow, press and hold down a directional button. A star, return the directional button to neutral, or just don't press anything. Don't move, basically. So you can see all these right away of what this is going to do. Okay, these little symbols. Oh, a power crush, a move that can absorb mid and high attacks. What's that sound like to me? It sounds like you get a bit of super armor. Okay. Oh, homing attack, a useful move against sidestepping opponents. So if somebody's doing this to you and you use that move, you're going to get hit. You're going to get hit. So that's a really great thing to have. I would definitely look at that. Okay, if you get confused, check this out. Okay, tells you the star represents the combo difficulty. So you can see that this one is kind of, it's okay. It's not super hard, but it's a little bit difficult. Okay, and you're going to notice you're going to have a lot. You're going to have a lot of main techniques. Okay, so let's just look at this. Well, let's see. We might have to wait till the next round because I lost my heat. Okay, but you can kind of see different moves. Most of these are working with the heat mechanic. Okay, but you can kind of see what these things do. But let's go over to all techniques. Okay, all techniques is kind of interesting. This is going to be your huge list of all the basic things he can do, all the techniques that he's got. And as you can see, there are a lot of them. If you've never played Tekken before, or looked at Tekken, or heard anything about Tekken, Tekken has a lot of moves. Okay, a lot more than other fighting games you may have played, and it can kind of be overwhelming. Don't let it get overwhelming to you guys. You don't need to know all these moves right away. Okay, take a few, learn a few, however many that is, that doesn't seem overwhelming to you, and learn a few at a time. Okay, this is giving you an arsenal of things to pull from. You don't need to know all of them around. I can't remember all these in a match, especially when you're actually playing against a live opponent. You're not going to remember a lot of this stuff. You're gonna be, oh crap, how did I do the switchblade? How did I do this or that? You're gonna forget. Okay, so it just takes time. So don't get too overwhelmed. Okay, but let's look at some of this as we're talking about heat. Okay, as you can see with the heat system for Jin, you can see what that does. For example, we're not gonna read all of them, but you can see all moves will deal chip damage on block. Okay, what does that mean? Well, we're gonna probably have to wait till the round finishes, but as you can see, when Nina's blocking, she's not taking any damage. All right, she's not losing anything. Okay, now you can see on her health, right, you know, by her picture and the golden health bar, you see this little white space. Well, if you see this white space and you look, well, Nina's hitting me, she's refilling health. Okay, white meter or white health can be refilled on a hit. Okay, so let's say I'm activating my heat here. Okay, and she's gonna block. Well, look, I'm getting chip damage. So I'm technically depleting her health just by hitting her. But she still has the white meter. Okay, this is chip damage. Okay, you're damaging her, but she can recover it. Okay, if she hits you, if she successfully hits you, she can recover some of that health. Okay, but you're still able to deplete her health bar, okay, with heat mode, even if she's blocking. Okay, if that makes sense. Okay, right, it even tells you right here, cannot KO with chip damage. Okay, so you can lower her health all the way down. Okay, but chip damage turns into a recoverable health gauge, right? So it gives you a huge advantage, okay, because that chip damage is gonna go down pretty quick too, right? Now let's look at this other stuff. A heat dash can be used when a heat engager hits or is blocked. After activation, hit will end. So that you're gonna look at all these, right? You see all these heat moves, okay? Heat burst, median line destruction, okay? And they got these symbols. So I look at these symbols, we see this little symbol that's by them, heat engager. Okay, the little blue symbol, third from the bottom. A move that triggers heat after hitting your opponents on the ground. So basically what that means is I could do this move right here. Okay, Tanden Nidan Uchi. Probably mispronounced that. But I could do this move. Okay, it's not gonna work now, but I could do this move. And if she wasn't blocking and fell to the ground, it would have the same effect as if I pressed the RB button and activated heat. Okay, but I'm at least getting a move off it, right? It's gonna activate my heat. Okay, so that's basically what you need to know on these, is you get some of these heat moves and you have a whole list. Depending on the character that you're playing, you're gonna have different things, right? Okay, so you're gonna see different stuff like that, different symbols, and this game does a really good job at, so far, at least in the demo, of showing you, as you can see, what some of that means, you know? Or during Zenshin, chip damage on block, absorb an attack to power up. So you're gonna get a little bit of information, to kind of work on and help you understand what it's saying. So that's pretty much all you need to know on Heat right now. Basically, it's a power up. Okay, you're gonna get some new moves. You're gonna get a little bit stronger attacks. Okay, you're gonna be able to chip away at their health. Okay, when they're blocking, things like that. Okay, really powerful. Obviously, it's something you can only use once in the round. So it's gonna be depending on timing of when you decide to use it. Okay, it's all gonna be when, you know, using it in the right moment. Okay, it's not something you want to spam. But now we look at normal moves. Okay, let's look at normal moves. Okay, this is something that is going to be probably the most important thing for you to look at least for me. Okay, this is going to be a lot of your combo moves, your basic combos. Okay, stringing buttons together to do something more than just punch, kick. Okay, learning a few of these is going to make the game a lot more enjoyable for you. It's going to make you feel like you're actually doing something and you're not just mashing buttons, but you're doing deliberate inputs to do a cool move. So let's just do a couple of these simple ones, right? So we know, again, looking at what these mean, okay, the colored dot is going to tell you what button to push. Okay, again, to make it look like the controller, just rotate it in your mind, just 360, you know, a little bit to the left, you know, to where that it's set kind of upright instead of staggered. Okay, so that kind of reflects your controller, and then you know, okay, this is telling me to press X and Y again on the Xbox controller. All right, X and Y, boom, easy. I'm getting a 1-2 punch. Okay, we'll let the timer run out on this round here before we continue. So when I pick a new character, this is where I go to. I go to the move list. Okay, and as you can tell, there are tons. There's probably like 80 moves here. Okay, obviously you're getting some special moves, you're getting moves while crouching. Okay, you're getting a lot of different things. Okay, you don't have to learn them all right away. Just pick a few. Pick a few. Let's say we'll go, okay, left jab, double low. Okay, so it looks like it's telling me to press 1, 3, and 4. Okay, well, let's press 1, 3, and 4. Oh, wow. Okay, this is kind of cool. So I can press 1, and I notice that she's blocking. Okay, well, I can follow up with 3 and 4 and hit low to get that damage in. Okay, so you can kind of see, you know, they're very easily laid out for you to tell you what to do. So let's look at one that has something different. So you see how some of this has parentheses. Okay, so when we go to help, we can see, again, looking at the parentheses, it means quickly press the buttons inside of the parentheses. Okay, so this is telling us to press 2 and 1, and then we're going to quickly double press 4. Okay, so we got the 2 and 1 part right here, and then quickly press 4, or those twice, right? So we've got boom, boom, boom. It's kind of cool. It almost does like a little bit of a hesitation type of attack, right? So it's a low trick kick. See, that makes sense, right? Because it almost looks like he's gonna kick, doesn't, and then finally kicks just a little second later, right? To try and maybe trick your opponent to think that you're gonna do a low kick and then you don't do it. To maybe hopefully they release their block or something and then you hit them, right? So you can kind of see different moves there. Okay, there's a lot of them. Go through a few, see what you like, and practice those. Just practice those, okay? And if you accidentally do a new one, you're like, well, that looks cool, okay? Go find it. Go find what it does, all right? So there's a ton to play around with. Each character is going to be different and have different things, right? All right, whether it's crouching or something like that. So as you see, that's a lot to play around with. Those are the basic combos and where to find them, and it does a really good job explaining different things. So like throws, right? So a double face kick, approach opponent, press 1 and 3. Then we have over the shoulder, shoulder flip, right? From the left side, from the right side, from behind. You're going to get different throws depending on where you're facing on the opponent. Okay, so that's going to be a bit of tips there with that. Okay, for this video, there's just a couple more things I wanted to talk about. Okay, one thing I want to talk about is just spacing. Okay, this kind of goes back to movement. Okay, what you're going to find, right, is, and you can think of this in your head, some attacks are going to have different ranges than others, right? You look at this punch. Okay, I can kind of see, okay, I can hit from obviously right in their face. I can step back a little bit. Oh, whoa, I'm too far. Okay, my punch isn't going to hit from here. Okay, but it'll hit from here. All right, so you can kind of see the maximum range that you have for your attacks, right? And what's going to reach a bit further, what's not going to reach, okay? Oh, maybe my kicks are a little bit further. Okay, so this one I have a bit of range with that. Okay. So you're going to have to figure out too of just what attacks do. I know it's kind of simple, but sometimes people forget that and they try to do moves that are they're clearly out of range to do it, and you're going to leave yourself open for an attack. Okay. So you're going to have to play around with your attacks and figure out where's the best place to do that attack at. Okay. And that's just going to take a little bit of time to get used to, but it's just something to keep in mind. Of how to close distance, right? So Jin has a move, right, where you can press forward twice, okay? So kind of you get a little dash, and then you press it again, but you hold it, and you press 3, right? So he gets a little kind of jumping kick there, right, to kind of help you close distance and maybe surprise him. Maybe you surprise him with a little attack, okay? So you kind of can figure out certain things to do there, okay? Now the last thing I want to talk about before we just kind of play a match and talk a little bit is understanding a bit of frame data. Now, I'm not going to talk a lot about frame data. I'm not going to talk too much about it. There's only some things that I just kind of want to get into your mind of understanding why people talk about frame data, why it's not necessarily important for beginners, but why it can help you be better. Okay. Tekken 8 in this practice mode when it comes out may have frame data already there. Hopefully it's not like a Tekken 7 thing where you end up having to pay for it, okay? What frame data is, and I'm only going to talk about a couple elements of it. I'm not going to talk about everything with it. Okay, just the basic principles of what it is. Basically with frame data, what we're talking about, the most important thing to understand, some moves are faster than others, and some moves you will get punished, okay, if the opponent blocks them, all right? Or your opponent presses or does a move that's faster than your move. Okay, so let's just break that down real quick. All right, now I'm gonna make up frame data. I'm just gonna use random numbers. It's probably not what's actually that attack, but we're just gonna do it for an example purpose. So let's say this punch right here, let's say this punch has a frame data of 5. We'll say it's 5. Okay, that means it takes 5 frames, right, for this move to basically start up, and we'll just say to attack. Okay, to hit the opponent. So let's say this is 5, okay? And let's say this kick right here, actually we'll use this one. So we're pressing 1 and 4. 4 even looks slower to me, okay, than 1. But let's say 4 has a frame data, as we'll say it has 8. We'll say it takes 8 frames or something for it to go. That means that this kick is a bit slower to do than this punch, okay? Well, if this is a bit slower, let's say, for example, Nina here, okay? Let's use one of her kicks, okay? Okay, so I'm doing this kick right here. So I'm pressing 3, okay? Sorry, I'm using a keyboard, so I don't really know what the input. We'll say this is 4, I don't know. But I'm pressing it at the same time, and her kick is winning, okay? Her kick seems to be winning when I press him at the same time. Okay, now we're getting some equal. Okay, so you can kind of see. Okay, now we're doing different kicks. Okay, so I'm doing this, she's doing this. We're doing this at the same time. My kick seems to be winning every time. Okay, well, why is that? Well, my move is coming out faster than her move is. So if you and your opponent are fighting and you press a button at the same time, the faster move is going to win. Okay. So you're going to have to understand and know just what move is a good starting move, and understanding that, hey, we both attacked at the same time and I got hit. Why? Well, her move or your opponent's move had lower frames, right? So that's kind of the basics of that. Just understanding that some moves are going to be faster than others. Now, the other part of that as well is a lot of the times you'll play fighting games and you will hit somebody, they'll block, and then all of a sudden you're getting attacked and you can't move, you can't do anything. Part of the reason that is every attack has like a recovery time. So if I do this punch and she blocks, or let's do this kick. Okay, she blocked it. Well, as I can see, right when I block, I can't move. I have a little bit of time where I can't really do anything. I can't cancel the animation. I'm kind of stuck. So if she's able to do a move out of block, if there's a move that's fast enough that catches me while I'm still recovering, I'm stuck. I'm gonna get hit. Okay. So if that makes sense, that's basically where you hear like unsafe on block type of things. I could be wrong. Hopefully my terminology is where it should be. But basically the principle is sometimes if you attack an opponent and they block, they may have an opportunity to hit you and there's not much you can do. Okay, so there's a risk reward in doing an attack where a lot of the times your bigger, heavier moves, they're going to have a slower startup time. It's going to take a bit longer for those moves to come out. Okay, which gives your opponent an advantage to do a quicker move, all right, to counter you. Okay, so there's a bit of rock, paper, scissors, and anybody who's played any fighting game at all, you know, if this is your first fighting game you're getting into, you have to understand there's a rock, paper, scissors component to a lot of this stuff. Okay, sometimes you're just not going to know what the best answer is, and you're going to have to just understand what your character can do, what your opponent's character can do, and how your opponent is playing. You know, maybe you know your opponent likes to grab you every time you stand up. You know, every time you get knocked down and stand up, your opponent likes to grab you. Okay, well, maybe I need a counter grab, which is usually pressing the grab button at the same time type of thing, right? But you know what I'm saying? So you start to learn, oh, my opponent's doing this a lot. I should probably start doing this. So let's just actually jump into an actual computer match, and we'll talk about some other things there. So again, I know this is a very casual video. Again, I'm just not reading from a script or anything. I'm just kind of saying what's on my mind. In Tekken, you can choose which side you want to be on when you're doing versus. It kind of just depends on where you want to start and what you feel more comfortable with. So I like to be on the left side. It just feels right. And to talk about that as well, keep in mind a lot of inputs. So if you're on the left side versus the right side, when you pull up your move list, it's going to tell you, hey, go forward, and the arrow is going to point right. Right? Well, just keep in mind when you're on the left, when you're on the opposite side, it's going to kind of be the opposite, right? You just have to understand that a lot of move lists read as if you're reading left to right, as if you're on the left side, I mean. So you're just going to have to know in your head, you may have to flip the movement or what button you're pressing as far as movement goes to do the move. So kind of a side topic, but there. So I know we had Nina doing a lot of things. Let's just have Kazuya. We'll put him on medium. Okay, I'd recommend, by the way, if you're just starting out, just play on easy, play on medium, play on a low difficulty that's not super punishing, okay, to kind of get a feel for what you're doing. All right, so let's just do a little bit of match. By the way, I love the look of this game. I think Tekken 8 looks fantastic. Okay, so we're gonna try to do some stuff against a real opponent here. Okay. So that's always nice because I was able to, a lot of, there are some moves that will launch people into the air like that. Oops. Where you can do a combos, you know, do little air combos there, okay? Boom, boom, boom. So that was like basically what I just did there. It was a simple, hey, I'm launching him in the air. I pressed RB, you know, to do the heat activation, and then I pressed it again to do the big, you know, a bigger attack there, okay? But you can kind of see. Right, I was doing a lot of offensive stuff. Now let's try and see if he'll attack me here. Okay. So I like to try and stay moving a little bit, you know, mainly just to try and catch him. You know, okay, he's, you know, he's attacking low or my high, or, you know, try to get where he's going. Okay, I tried to sidestep, that didn't work. Okay, let me try to grab him. Perfect, okay, good grab there. Okay, let's go on the, he's not doing much. Oh, there we go. Okay, let's see if I can do that there. All right. So luckily with Jin, he's got some stances. Oh, crap. We got Devil Jin, or Devil Kazuya. Okay, it didn't matter though. Activated too late. Okay. So a lot of times when I'm fighting, there's no shame in pausing the fight, right? Check your move list. Look at what you can do, what you can't do. Maybe you're like, I've done the same few moves over and over again. I think I feel pretty good with those moves. You know, what can I do now? Okay. So maybe let's see some. Maybe we're like, okay, heat moves. Let me look at, let's test one of these out. So this says the Tanden Nidan Uchi, right, is a heat engager. It triggers heat. Okay, so this is forward. Looks like forward 3, 1. Okay, well, let's try it. Okay. Okay. Oops. Oh, there we go. Okay, so now I activated my heat, which I just expended it all using that ultimate move. But you can see once the opponent hit the ground, when I basically landed on the opponent, it activated the heat attack there. Okay. So to me, even though that looked pretty simple, right? I'm fighting a medium CPU, but I'm having fun doing the moves that I was learning. Okay, the little button inputs that I was learning, which was awesome to watch. It's fun to see the stuff that you're pressing on the controller actually come out, okay, and actually work. All right, so that's just a simple match. Okay, obviously that's a simple match against a simple computer. But I hope that a lot of this, just understanding the basics and not getting too overwhelmed, will help you as a straight up beginner find some enjoyment in the game. Okay, like I said, I love fighting games and I'm not very good at them. Okay, I'm not very good at them. I lose a lot online. Okay, when I played Street Fighter, Mortal Kombat, but I still tried to find enjoyment in just playing my character and trying to do the moves that I was practicing. Okay, and when I actually pulled them off, it was exciting. It was exciting to pull off the moves that you've been working so hard to do. Okay, so don't get too overwhelmed with how much content there is. Obviously, when this game comes out, you're gonna have a story mode, you're gonna have arcade, you're gonna have things to practice and have fun with. Don't feel pressured to play online if you're not ready or you don't want to. Okay, but keep it in mind that like playing against other people is going to help you a lot as well, you know. And hopefully the game will pair you with people who are more closer to your level, but every now and then you're going to fight people who are just way better than you. Okay, and that's okay. That's okay. You'll get there. It takes time. But just as a recap, right? Don't compare yourself to other people. Don't look at tier lists. Pick a character that you like, okay? Understand that you're going to make mistakes and that you're going to lose, and that's okay. Okay, you're learning. That's part of learning. Okay, and focus on those small things. Focus on the things that you're working on to be a better player. Okay, we went over basic attacks. We went over basic notation, basic strikes, movement, grabbing, a little bit of the heat system, where to find your combos, your basic combos, understanding what some of those inputs mean, a little bit of frame data knowledge. Okay, and the last thing I'll add in there is, guys, look up stuff. It's okay to Google or watch a YouTube video about how to play Jin, how to play Kazuya. What are some like, hey, what's a really long, awesome combo with Jin? Watch the video and copy it. There's nothing wrong with that. Whatever you do in this game, do it to have fun. Do it because you want to have fun in the game and play it in the way that's going to allow you to have fun. Okay. That's kind of what I want to share. Hopefully this video wasn't too much of me rambling on and actually gave you some information, or at least something to help you stick with it. I think these games are hard to stick with if you let yourself get overwhelmed, or you just feel like a failure, or you feel like you just don't know what to do. Okay, these games are hard. Okay, they're not easy. They do take time to learn, and they can be frustrating when you're playing against other people who are better than you. Okay, but if you like competition, you like being competitive, you're gonna find enjoyment here. If you like that, you know, your skill level in this game, how you play is all on you. You don't have to rely on a teammate. You don't have to rely on anything else. It's all you. You know, and when you become really good, you did that. You did that. Okay. Your effort, your hard work, that's why you're doing what you're doing. Okay. And that's fun. It's, for some people, you like doing new things. You like learning new things. For other people, it's you know, you just like doing cool stuff. So stick with it. I think Tekken 8 is going to be a lot of fun. Going back to what I talked about kind of in the beginning video, I'm going to be trying to stream this a lot on Twitch, just over at The Casual Gamer. The link to that channel is on my channel page here on YouTube. Or you can go over to Twitch, just type in The Casual Gamer, casual with a K, and find me there, right? I'm a new content creator, new streamer. I'm trying to be more consistent, trying to be better, but we're going to be playing definitely a lot of Tekken for a while. Okay, so if you're a beginner, you just want to hang out with me or with other beginners, you know, we can play some matches, do stuff like that, and have some fun. Okay, so thanks for watching, everybody. Hope this helped a little bit for you beginners out there like myself to maybe get a little more confident with what you can do and picking up the controller and giving it a shot. So thanks again, everybody. Thanks for watching. Like the video if you enjoyed it, if you learned something. If not, hey, no worries. Okay, love to see you on the next video. Thanks again, everybody, and until next time.